Hello, and welcome back to Tech Tuesday. Videos are obviously a great tool that any educator can use in order to enhance their curriculum, and there are thousands upon thousands of videos out there. One of the things you want to make sure that you're doing, though, is keeping students engaged as they're watching, front-loading them about what they're going to be seeing. Edpuzzle is a great way to do this, but if you want to do something that's maybe more of a whole class instruction or something a little bit different, Google Gemini actually has a really great way to take a video, a YouTube video, which is more than likely the videos that you're going to be finding, put in the link and actually create study guides, notes, and you're actually able to even modify that a little bit, maybe for students with IEPs, 504s, to provide some more scaffolding to help them out. Let's take a look at how to do that. I found this crash course video with John Green that I want to have my students watch. And I want to have them actually take some notes and answer some questions so they're a little bit more actively engaged as they're watching this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the link to the video, to the URL. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Gemini, which I have open here in a separate tab. I'm going to go ahead and enter a prompt that says, 9th grade history teacher. And I want to have these things for my students. A 5-sentence summary for study guide, some check for understanding questions. When I have an answer key, I can erase that later before I actually assign it here. 3 big picture discussion questions, and then put the link to the video. So it'll go ahead. It'll generate that information for me here. I've got the study guide summary, the check for understanding questions with the answer key, including links to that video. And what I can also do is I'm going to go ahead and create a Cornell note template. I'm going to switch over to the thinking model. And I'll go ahead and say, can you create a template for Cornell notes? So my students can use this while they're actually watching the video. The thinking model is just going to give us a more detailed analysis here. All right, so now I've got my Cornell notes for the Great Depression. I can either print these out, or if I go down here, it's kind of nice too because it gives me a little teacher tip with John Green. He speaks pretty quickly, so that might be something just to tell my students about as they're watching. But I'm going to go ahead and go down here and export this to a Google Doc. Click on that. And then I'll go ahead and open up my docs here. And there we are. Now, for some of these instructions, I'll probably want to erase these, modify this. It's in a Google Doc, so it's fairly easy to do. But here I've got my Cornell notes to help guide my students. I can either keep that tip or I can get rid of it, tell my students about it. I can rename this. Actually, what's good is to copy and paste this and put it up top for when I'm actually assigning this. Let's go ahead and go back to our Gemini prompt and say, you know what? I want to have a version for my students with IEPs and 504s, maybe a little bit more scaffolding, sentence framed. So this will actually create another version of this that's a little bit more simplified. And I can actually take this, all of this information here, and I can export it to Google Docs. Now I have a separate version that I can give to students who are maybe struggling a little bit, need a little bit more support. So go ahead and open up that doc. And again, I can kind of go ahead and erase some of these instructions here. Move some of these things around. I probably want to take a few of these things, like if I'm having my students do close notes, or these fill in the blank. This way students are a little bit more prompted to know what they're looking for. Now again, Keeping in mind with anything that's generated by AI, you want to make sure that you're double checking for accuracy. Make sure that you actually watch the video first before pushing this out to students. There are some things that you may want them to focus on a little bit more. But for the most part, this will give you a really good start of coming up with a template for a video that you want your students to watch without having to do all of that legwork. Thank you for watching this edition of Tech Tuesday. If you have any questions or would like something to be covered in the future, please let me know.